are the versions of stories I have heard from online, from bloggers, vloggers. In my opinion, I don't think these stories check out completely because it just went from I wanted a Birkin and I went into store and I got a Birkin. There are so many in-between steps they did not disclose, which is kind of making us guess, what else happened around it. How come this person got offered a bag and I didn't? In my experience working management for luxury brands, it's very unlikely that these are true stories, and I'm pretty sure people do get lucky. I basically was able to score my Birkin 25 from the boutique. I'm sure there are a lot of questions around it, so today I am going to be addressing those questions and also talking to you guys, and most importantly, break it down. I have a lot to say. Hey guys, welcome back to today's video. If you're a return viewer, you may know what I've been up to because I have been gone for 2 weeks on YouTube, and I just wanted to come on here really quickly and share one of the most exciting news with you guys so that way you're updated with what's going on. I wanted to come on here really quickly and catch up really quickly with you guys. Some of you might have already known that I have welcomed my very first child into this world at the end of May, so that is the reason why I have been gone. Don't worry, I have videos planned and it is going to be published slowly, but as of right now, I just wanted to come on here really quickly and give you guys an update. Motherhood has such a deep learning curve that I just have to keep catching up with it, but I still am very passionate about sharing all of the information on luxury with you guys. And if you're new to the channel, my name is Vivian and I am the host for My First Luxury. On the channel, I do a lot of in-depth reviews for all luxuries across the board. If this is a video you're watching today, I would love for you to join the channel, and if you're the return viewer, thank you so much for your patience, and also thanks to all of you who have sent heartwarming messages to me via DM. I have read all of them and I have never felt so supported from an awesome online community, so I just wanted to say thank you guys so much. And without further ado, let's get into today's video because I was super excited to film this video and now it's finally time to share it with you guys. Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. We're going to talk about how I scored my Birkin 25 from the very beginning. I was a brand new customer to the brand. I have been admiring it for a long time. I have bought things here and there, but it was not something that I have committed to. If this is the first video you're watching, I do suggest you check out the Hermes playlist because under there I have shared a lot of the handbag reviews and also some unboxings. Recently filmed a birthday haul unboxing, which is still probably one of the biggest unboxings on YouTube for now. So if you haven't checked that out, I'm going to put the link over here. First of all, I wanted to tell you guys a little bit about myself. My background before starting a YouTube channel was really dedicating all of my 10 years in the luxury industry, especially retail end of things. So I pretty much worked my way up to a boutique director. So basically, I do have some insights as to how brand operate, how a retail store operate, and how business works behind the door. It could really help us understand how a brand really works. Okay, so these are the things I've heard on the internet. Oh, I walk into a store and I was browsing and associate approached me and asked me what I was looking for. So I was obviously just telling them I know what I'm looking for. It's Birkin or Kelly. And then they just told me to wait, and then they went to the back and brought out a Birkin or Kelly. Scenario number 2. I've gone into the store and I just started browsing and I bought 1 or 2 items or a few things together after like 3 times visit, and then my sales associate asked me to fill out my wish list, and then I did, and after a week I got a call and I collected my Birkin 30. There's also stories like I walked in, I just asked them if they have one of those quota bags, Birkin, Kelly, or Constance, and the person tells me no, and then I went back again, I met a nicer person and the person said let me check in the back. Then the person came out with a Kelly 28 in the color that I wanted. So that's how I scored my Birkin or Kelly. These are the versions of stories I have heard from online, from bloggers, vloggers, everybody that puts their information out there. And in my opinion, I don't think these stories check out completely because it just went from I wanted a Birkin and I went into store and I got a Birkin. There are so many in-between steps they did not disclose, which is kind of making us guess, what else happened around it. How come this person got offered a bag and I didn't? I think the common thing that all of these stories share is that they have previously no profile. They're just brand new walk-in clients, and they've gotten one of the best offers within the first 5 attempts, most of the time it's the second or third visit they get offered these bags. And they have no previous spending, they have no previous relationship with any of the SAs that they work in the store. They also want nothing but these quota bags. In my experience working management for luxury brands, it's very unlikely that these are true stories, and I'm pretty sure people do get lucky. We're talking about the chance of winning a lottery, 1 in a million chances. There are days where these things could happen, but most of the time, these things do not happen. I don't dig that there are people who are public figures who are putting out information like this because they just wanted to share a story. There's more to that. When you're sharing your story or experience, other people do look to you as a reference, and more or less we all tend to hope that things happen the same way. However, I would say 95+% of the time, things like this does not happen, and getting a bag offer is the ultimate result. But there are so many steps that is missing in between. So I wanted to bring this perspective to you guys. Just imagine when you walk into Hermes, this is a brand that a lot of us who love fashion admires, and their hottest commodity are their Birkin handbags, Kelly handbags, whatever you name it. If you look at it as a business, when you walk into these stores, why would the salesperson just offer one of the random or brand new client that just walk in the door their hottest commodity? Or when you just simply ask, when there's no purchase history, no relationship, when they don't know anything about you. This is where I think a lot of the misunderstandings and the missed information comes from, because a salesperson really doesn't get to make a decision on whether or not you get to have the bag. It is the management. However, the salesperson is the first contact to their clients. They oftentimes are there to build the case for you, so they can present the case to their managers. Then the managers can look at it and say, okay, this client could be potential to be a long-term client. I have shared this before. We're talking about Birkin and Kelly's here. They are considered reward bags. These are the handbags that brands wants to offer to their best clients to reward their loyalty and to reward their kind of like the overall relationship with the brand. Why would they offer you their best rewards when they know nothing about you? If you say, okay, you walk in, you get a Twilly, or you get a perfume, that's very nice, but that is not enough to tell the salesperson that they should offer you their reward bag. There's no interaction, there's no relationship, the person doesn't know you. Oftentimes it does not happen. So when I hear people talk about, oh, I have no previous spending history and I literally just walked in and asked if they have the bag, and then they told me they have it, so they brought it out and gave it to me. If any transaction can happen like this, I'm pretty sure Hermes is no longer in business. So this is a very important perspective for us to kind of think about, is to know that they hold their best and reward their loyal clients their best commodity. So it's not something that you can just walk in and buy, because that is just not the system that they operate off of. And if you look at it across luxury brands, they are not the only one who's doing this. You also cannot just walk into a car dealership and ask for a LaFerrari. It just does not work like that. And also the brands often do not offer these ultimate prizes to someone who is a relatively new client or who is a walk-in. They reserve these to reward their best and loyal clients. So this makes a lot of sense in the automotive industry. It's the same thing at Hermes. Because we're in fashion, a lot of people aren't able to grasp a reward system like this, because it seemed like Hermes is the only one that's doing it, when in fact there are many other luxury brands who rewards their client the same way, which is through their years of spending and loyalty with the brand. Then you get the best things. So you differentiate who is a newer client and who are enthusiasts and who are some of the collector level clients. I hope by putting it this way, it's easier for you to understand how the system works, because it is luxury at the end of the day, and luxury is truly all about exclusivity. Another thing brand also really does is what we call it the inventory control, because they really go off of craftsmanship and handmade and quality and top-notch things. They have to control how many items are being made, as well as who do they give these allowances to. Another example would be watch brand Patek Philippe. You probably have heard of it in rap songs and anywhere they make one of the best timepieces. It is a heritage brand. It's been around for hundreds of years. Nowadays, when you walk into a boutique, you still cannot just buy something that is their hottest lineup. For example, their entry-level watches or this Nautilus collection, it is a waitlisted item. So if you're someone who only wants their hottest item, then you have to figure out how to get into the brands or how to build a relationship with your salesperson so they can work on allocating these pieces for you. They have to know that it's worth it, and they also want to know that you as a client are invested in the brand. So in long term, you will be able to pick up these hot pieces. I also think nowadays social media plays such an important role on our daily lives. We only look at what is the newest, what is the hottest, what is everybody's talking about. But we often forget about how people actually got these things. At the end of the day, there are more demands than what the brand can supply. And oftentimes luxury brands do not want to produce large quantities of goods because then that reduces the exclusivity level of their brands. Therefore, they have to decide and choose which clients to give these handbags to. That brings back to why Birkins are so exclusive, because the brand only released a very limited quantity of these handbags, and then they wanted to give it to their most loyal clients. Let's look at the other facts. You want a handbag that costs on average from $10,000 and start, and oftentimes these handbags are all handmade, just like a Bentley car. They're all handmade and hand assembled. These craftsmen, they don't just come from somewhere that you hire from a manufacturer. That's why these are heritage brands, which means the brand has been along and have know-hows and techniques on materials, craftsmanship, and etc. There are a lot of elements that comes into play, and for Birkin, the craftsman has to have at least 15 plus years of making leather goods at the brand before they can become the craftsman where at the level they can singly produce a or a Cali piece, and that itself does take a long time as well. Besides the high price point and the waiting time, and also you don't even know whether or not you get it, they have to make these handbags. They only are able to make these many within these periods of time. So everything just becomes a lot more small streamed instead of something that is more commercially produced, like makeups. They cannot be hand printed by a machine and the machine can stamp like 100 things every hour. All of these pieces has to be made by hand. There are a lot of details that is involved in making such piece, and that's why I appreciate luxury so much, because it is not just the price point that puts people who can afford this in a different category. It is really everything about it, everything behind it, and how the item is beautifully carried out. With social media, we're constantly flooded with images of beautiful material things, handbags, cars, jewelry, outfits, makeup. Everything is beautiful, and that kind of created an impression of it's very easy to get these things because it's material things, and if one is willing to pay for it, one must be able to get it. But the reality is there are few people who own these handbags than those who are spreading these contents around. Even though it might look like it's so easy to get your hands on these handbags, there are a lot of things that people aren't talking about, because there are just collectors who are there to share their beautiful collection, but there's no talks about it. I do claim myself a victim of that as well, because the more we see something, the more we want it. And until we go in and try to source these things, and we realize, oh, it's not that easy to get. Often whatever we see on Instagram, for example, Chanel items, even nowadays, everything you see, if you ask your essay, it's always, oh, it's sold out a long time ago already. On my personal Instagram feed, whenever I open it up, I see exotic, super hyper cars everywhere under my post. And in my opinion, I just think, okay, maybe this is something that if you have that couple $1,000,000, you can then get that car. But in fact, it does not work like that. It's probably collection from like a few people. Do you think social media did play an important role to mislead us or to make us think some of these things are not scarce? In fact, there are some scarcity around these brands and some of these items. Now let's get into a very particular part, is how I got my Birkin 25 in this Gaga Gorgeous combo. It is with some luck, but it's not what you think it is. So I wanted to break it down in the way that after watching this video, when you go look at the other collectors feed or some of your favorite Instagram account or other visuals, you can then see a pattern of how these people shopped. And a lot of times I don't hear from people who own multiple handbags, Birkin, Callies or whatnot, talk about they walk in scoring a bag. And what you see is on their feed, they have all kinds of items from home, jewelry, ready to wear, shoes, beauty, handbags, leather, basically, across the board. And this to me is a legit loyal client, because that's how brands want their clients to be, is to be in every part of their life. So if you're not ready to be that client, maybe Birkin isn't ready for you. Now let's talk about this particular handbag. If you have watched my massive haul unboxing on the channel, if you haven't watched that yet, I'm going to put it in the description box or put a link over here. That is pretty much most of the items I purchased before I got this wonderful surprise. That is not everything, because a lot of things needs to be ordered and I'm slowly collecting it. And I think after filming this video, I have already planned another visit to go to the store and pick up a few more items. So if you are curious to see what I personally pick out, I would love you if you join the channel as well and be a part of my first luxury. There are a few elements that I think you should consider before thinking about the ultimate Birkin or Callie. And the first is what you want to buy. Okay, I think Hermes as a brand has made it easy for us that now they have an e-commerce site. A lot of items can be purchased directly from the website. But if you are thinking to build your profile and become a client or have a relationship with a direct salesperson, I don't recommend you to buy online, but to buy directly from the person that you work with in the store, because that's how the allowance and things are kind of counted towards your profile. And that way the person you work with gets to know you better, and maybe next time when something else comes in before everybody even knows about it, your salesperson will think of you and contact you to let you know that something they think you like is here. However, you can't use Hermes website, hermes.com, as a reference point, because often on there they do upload new things. I think it's more updated than some of the store stocks, and there's also a reference number under each item. So if you want to save time during the appointment, you can just show your salesperson the particular item you want. It's very encouraged when you buy across category, which means these categories are things that's carried in your current store. Now put yourself from your salesperson's point of view. If you are the salesperson, what kind of client do you want to give your best bag to? Do you want to give it to those who keeps coming back, who shops consistently, and who are super into the brands? Or do you want to give it to somebody who just walked in and asked for a bag without even show interest in any other things that's offered in the store? Isn't the perspective more clearer now? You don't have to feel obligated to buying things that your salesperson recommends to you. Obviously, it's their job to show you things, but I have not encountered that. I just always knew before going in what I wanted to get. So my list is kind of like never ending. I do need to pace myself, but at the same time, I do think finding things that suits you the most is the key. In my personal case, I have probably gone in like 10 plus or minus times before collecting this bag, and then this bag was also arranged as a surprise for me between me and my husband and my salesperson. You probably have been hearing from other people, what are the ratios, what are the pre-spendings. These are things to me not the most important thing, but it is a good to know as a reference, because everybody's spending fluctuates, and the bag that I wished happened to be available in the store. I kind of have luck at that time when everything kind of play out together. But if we're talking numbers here, and if I could put it in the ratio, it's probably 1 to 1.5 plus to get this bag, and the Twilly's not included. I never really calculated my specific spendings. Oftentimes the items that I want is not available or it's sold out, but that's a good chance for you to work with your sales associate and ask them to see what else is around, so then they can place the order for you. Just like now, I'm probably gonna go back in for the next appointment where where I'm only going to be collecting things that I have wished for. That's when social media comes into play again. You can see a lot of other things that you might not see on each website or in store because it's sold out, but you can see from other people's like visuals and pictures of their personal collection. So if something you like, save it, keep it, send it to your salesperson and see if they can find it for you. That's how you start shopping and building the relationship. And after all that shopping is done and your wish list is submitted, the next thing is you just have to wait. And I know that the wait is anywhere between 3 to 6 months. That is not only depending on your previous spending, also depending on the availability of the bag you wished for. So in this case, my Birkin 25 was available at the time of my request. So it happened when I was surprised with it. White color bags are getting popular. If it's something that you're interested, definitely don't be hesitant to add it on your wish list. So I've also heard stories of different colors of handbag request different amount of spending. I'm not too sure about that, but I do know the sizes of the handbag is important. For example, if you want the Birkin 25 or Birkin 30, Kelly 25 or Kelly 28, these four are probably also Constant 19. These are probably the hottest sizes and combinations that people want in their collection. So if your first quota bag you're wishing for one of these bags, be aware of waiting time because of stock availability, and also the specific color and combination that you request for might just take longer because the store might not have it. At the end of the day, there's really no time frame or specifics as to exactly how much you need to spend to get your first quota bag. It really depends on how long you've been shopping with the brand and your relationship with your salesperson, and also how consistent you shop at the brand. Most importantly, whether or not you have the patience to wait for your right bag to come. Definitely don't rush them because they already know what you want. So what's the point of like asking them every 5 days? Another very important thing, don't feel entitled to it because entitled people don't always get what they ask for. A couple more things I wanted to touch base on. When you hear other people talk about, oh, I already spent $20,000 or $25,000, just giving examples here, at Hermes, but the $20,000, is it something that you spend exclusively in the leather department, or is it something that you have bought across the board? I think just like many other brands, they have a evaluating or scoring system that they probably use to help evaluate a client's profile. If you're someone who buys exclusively only leather, I don't think that is considered a very valuable investment as a client. However, if you then expand to purchasing things across categories, like from ready to wear or to beauty or to home goods, jewelry, watches, if you buy a little bit of everything that you like, I'm sure your salesperson know that it is a genuine purchase history. And also be aware, these luxury brands are heavily invested in fighting counterfeit and also fighting against resellers. So don't let all the story fool you because everybody has their own side of story, but oftentimes you don't know if they're giving you the whole picture. And I hope you score your very first Birkin or Kelly very soon. And if you did, I would love if you let me know and also give this video a thumbs up because it really supports the channel. I certainly hope you find today's video helpful, and I really try my best, and it's a long video to film. So thank you so much for watching today's video, and if you have any questions, let me know in the comment section below, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Take care, guys. Bye.